Let's switch to Joe Biden's other catastrophic failure. This one far more glaring, far more obvious, far more universally, not universally, but far more widely grasped as a failure. And that, of course, is Ukraine. The latest event over there was the bombing of a town square in a Russian village at Christmas time, which killed a few dozen Russian civilians. What conceivable military purpose is served by Ukraine, which wants to portray itself as the good guy in this war, doing something like that? Even Putin has gone through great pains to minimize exposure to Ukrainian civilians of the Russian military forces.
Yeah, so it seems to be a complete act of desperation on the part of Zelensky. We know from a Time magazine report that even aides to the Ukrainian president say that Zelensky has become delusional about this war. And so, without the arms and ammunition needed, and really the manpower needed for his troops to make gains on the ground in Ukraine and achieve his stated objectives, he needs at least symbolic victories because there's been two reports this week, one in the Times of London detailing how Ukrainians are turning against the war, but they're afraid to speak out against it, and another in the New York Times explaining how the viewership of the Ukrainian 24/7 news program, the only television news allowed in Ukraine, has absolutely plummeted, and people no longer believe it. They say all the rosy pictures painted just simply are not true. And so Zelensky is trying to paint pictures of success by carrying out attacks inside of Russia. This is only going to provoke larger and larger responses from Moscow and targeting Ukrainian infrastructure. And it's unclear how long Ukraine's really going to have the air defenses they need to defend their cities, especially if the U.S. doesn't pass more aid for Ukraine soon.